This episode of The Yin and the Yang is dedicated to the loving memory of the late, great Brandon Lee. Thank you for your inspiration and your love. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, fans, welcome back to the one podcast for all your martial arts, MMA, fitness, and motivational needs. This scintillating show is powered by the More of the Same Network in association with Anti-USW Productions, known worldwide as the Yin and the Yang. And I am still the former two-time USW heavyweight champion and lifelong martial artist known as Anthony Chew, a.k.a. Chewzilla, the ultimate thriller, all muscle, no filler, baby. And by cracky, we have one heck of an episode for you today because today, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to announce a major bombshell that will affect this podcast forever. And ladies and gentlemen, we dedicate a segment solely to celebrate the life of Brandon Bruce Lee. A most unusual victim of Chewed Out that you may be surprised at. Wing Chun versus MMA. A former pro wrestling star is changing lives. And Chewed Out, Q&A, and all that other good stuff. But more importantly, M-O-H-R, importantly, you know what day it is, ladies and gentlemen? It is truly... It's Mormon Day. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, and speaking of Mormon, allow me to introduce the man who will join me in this insane endeavor of a podcast known as the Yin and Yang. So please let me introduce my co-host, Mr. Co-host, to you. Here we go. Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen, he is the real McCoy. He's not your boy toy. He drinks whole milk, no soy. And today, he's the world's birthday boy. The owner, ruler, guru, and the king of the More of the Same Network.
Stiff upper lip.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce to you a man who is youthful as ever. The man known as Larry. It's my birthday, bitches. Mormon.
Oh, boy, that is an introduction, my friends. That is perfection.
Folks, before we say anything on this podcast, anything at all, the very first top piece of news is that, yes, happy birthday, Larry.
Thank you. Thank you very much. 38. It's gonna be a weird. It's a high number. So, but I'm ready. I'm ready to make some life changes in my 38th year.
There you go.
I have to make life changes in my 38th year, and I think it's a good, starting point. Every day's a new day, but every year is a new year. And if I'm going to really start to change for the better, and this is not an excuse for me for those last couple of weeks that I can just kind of do away with. But I think this is going to be a good start to a healthy life, both mentally, physically, emotionally, sexually, and everything that comes with it.
And you can't teach that.
Peace.
I guess we just ended the show. Now,
and I have to say this. I do have to say this. Of everyone on the More of the Same part of the More of the Same network, which is a network that is going to take off like SpaceX into the atmosphere. Of all the members even Huang, who did send me a birthday card, actually.
Wang sent you a birthday
Wang
card?
sent me a birthday card, yes.
Wait a minute. How the hell did that escape
Now, what's weird is it was clearly opened. There was a lot of Scotch tape on it. And the stamps are very weird over there. It's just a picture of Kim Jong-un with a dove in each hand and the sun setting behind him while he's riding a unicorn into the moon. It's very weird.
Part of the New Day now?
Maybe.
Okay.
But he also, it was weird. There was some sort of powderish material in the card. I couldn't. I thought it was. We used to joke around, me and Huang, with flour. Used to throw it at each other. I'd whack him in the face with a bag of flour and stuff. It was fun. So I tasted it because I figured it was flour, but it had a acidic type of taste to it.
Why?
I don't. And this was just a few moments ago. Even as I speak, I'm a little lightheaded, but it was nice that Wang wait
a minute. We're role models for the children here. What are you doing? Why did he tell you? Larry? Oh my God! The network is finally mine, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it's about time. I am the new owner. He's given me a will. He's given me this huge like a
Oh,
Larry?
Wow.
Shit.
Okay. Wow.
Shit.
Oh man. Woo. All right. Wow. All right. It wasn't. What happened?
I don't know, man, but all I know is that I saw you fall, and then I thought that I was the new owner of
what
the video games that you have in the back there.
Oh no, I'm getting buried with those. No, I'm sorry, I blacked out for a moment. That goddamn Huang, that clearly wasn't flour. Whew. That was some black market South African cocaine. Wait, no, hey. I'm sorry, no, drug free.
Supposed to be positive role models for the kids listening to the program.
So, woo.
Then again, I did catch you in a lie. The last podcast. Oh, well, with you guys talking about cocaine and drugs on the Retro Gamers, and that's supposed to be a family-friendly show. I guess that went out the window, huh? Well, today is Mormon Day.
So, but what I'm going to say, real quick, of everyone, actually, our host here, Anthony Chu, was gracious enough, the first one to get me a birthday gift. And arriving was the Greatest Hits album, Namco Museum Greatest Hits, on vinyl. And we're talking the actual game music, Pac-Man, Dig Dug, Sky Kid, Rolling Thunder, and others. So I ended a beautiful, beautiful artwork here with the album. So I appreciate it, brother. Thank you very much. It's honestly, truly, all joking aside, does mean a lot to me.
Well, you put it out on Instagram what you wanted for your birthday. That's one of the things that I got you. And hey, man, rightfully so. Number one, you're my childhood friend. You're actually one of the closest friends I have, right next to that kid in California. And no, really, man, all kidding aside, I really hope you enjoyed it. I mean, I don't know why I spent the amount of money I did. And I mean, because it is considered, I mean, you said you were going to frame it. Am I correct?
Yes, I am absolutely going to look to frame it.
Okay. It's better that you frame something than you frame somebody. All right. With the way that you run this Ponzi scheme that we call a network. But
dare you? On my birthday.
Sorry. Honestly, okay. I'm sorry. That you can edit that out if you want. It is your birthday. I am going to tell you right now that for the entire episode, you can say whatever you want. Do whatever you want, and I will kowtow to you.
Really?
Sir.
Wow.
Just don't involve my family, and we'll be fine.
No, why would I? I like that.
I kowtow. Yeah, because my mom cooked for you. That's why. And my dad, too.
That was some great stuff.
Eat the beast. Now you know why I look the way I do. Or did. look the way I did.
So we got a show to do.
Yes, sir. We do have a show to do. So we got a lot of ground to cover. Let me allow me right now to give a huge announcement about this podcast. This is going to come to a surprise to many people. I really don't know in a lot of ways how to say this because, quite frankly, I'm nervous talking about it now as we speak, and I don't know how to break it to you guys. I've recorded 20. This is the 26th episode of the program, and when I talked to you about podcasting, I was really, really amped to do this, and I've had a lot of fun. I mean, it's an awesome program, and I love doing it. And to be very honest with you, I got to be honest with you, man. I think that today is the last episode of this program.
Really?
There's just no other way for me to explain it.
Wait, for why? For what reason?
Well, look, brother, I have come to the ultimate conclusion thinking about this.
I've invested a lot of money into this show.
Well, you invested a lot of money into the show, not me. But that's a different story, right? Well, listen, come on. Don't lie. All my money went to Notaro.
Wait a minute, but why didn't you...
And it's not about the financial. It's you know what it is, Larry?
Why are you telling me on air?
Why am I telling you on air?
Very unprofessional.
No, it's not unprofessional. I want the people to know the truth. All right? I want the people to understand that this is something that's it's affected me for quite some time. And
I mean, you're shooting right now.
I am shooting.
This is not any of our bits or anything. I mean, this is...
Look,
this is legit. What's going on?
Brother, I've come to the conclusion that I think that it's only fair that I air this out to the commandos, to the militants out there. I've had a fun ride. It's our 26th episode. I mean, like, I've had 26 weeks of a lot of fun. That's more than a half a year, And I've just come to the conclusion, man, that after listening to the other pods, like the Better Half, the Retro Gamers, even listening to, a lot of the old Pro Slam World podcast, brother, I'm not made for this. I'm not good enough. I don't feel like I have what it takes, man, to do this. And I don't have it in me anymore. I just don't have it in me to do another pod.
But I do 3 of them. I don't get it.
At this point, I think that Huang and Edson can do a better job than I can.
No, I'm not. No, we're good. We're gonna shoot here for a moment. We're gonna shoot here. Why are you doing this right now? I'm not. No fun and games. I mean, honestly, I'm putting a lot of effort into this with you, with Rippo, with Frank.
Larry,
this is nuts.
Look, man.
That you're doing this now. This is bullshit.
No. Please, don't get upset, man. It's just that I just really feel like I'm not worthy, man. If you look at the stats, look at the stats of this show here compared to the other shows on the network. I'm like last.
All right, look, it's always been a marathon. I've told you this.
I know, but it's like it's sometimes when you're a runner and you just run out of gas and you get exhausted and you just don't have it in your heart to do it anymore, man.
You're the most professional host out of all of us. I appreciate it. I think it's bullshit that you're doing this right now.
No, come on, man.
I had a whole bunch of stuff planned.
Like what?
I was getting ready with the logo. I was getting ready with, with the logo would then come the merchandise. I just set up a goddamn tax thing for this. Well, not for this show, but I'm getting there.
Well, I understand, Larry, but you know what? I don't know. I just don't have it in me anymore, man. I mean, before we make this our last episode, I do have a question for you.
Well, I don't know what you can possibly. I mean, this is fucked up.
I know. I'm
and
sorry.
I've known you for how long?
I know. It's been a long time, but you know what, Larry? do you know what? I have one last question before
it's
before
my
we just
birthday. Okay,
I know. I didn't mean to ruin it, man. But brother, do you know what day it will be in a couple of days from now?
Easter.
Yeah. It is Easter. You're right. You're right. I'm gonna go to church and go to confession and basically say that I'm just not good enough. I don't have what it takes.
I want to break this album. That's how mad I am right now.
Well, do you know what Sunday is also?
What?
It's April Fools, motherfuckers! Because you might think that I am absolutely out of my mind, but do you honestly think that I am going to stop? The Chuster brother will never stop because Chew-O-Mania is running wild, much more wild than it's ever been before. I will not stop this because, like Hacksaw Jim Duggan once said, as long as there's blood in my veins, air in my lungs, I promise you, this network for the people, this podcast for the people will not stop. And brother, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to make sure that this conglomerate that we have is going straight to the top. Not only that, this is going to be the mothership show that everyone will understand that the Mormons are militants, the Choose Commandos, we are number one. And that is your April Fool's joke of the year, baby.
You were just fucking with me?
Of course I am. Do you really think, and with the momentum that we have and the stats that we have, there is a reason why I introduced the show as the trend-setting, groundbreaking, booty-shaking, not booty-shaking, but I mean, of course. Do you really think that you should stop the momentum that we have right now? And you are the greatest. We've been the greatest tag team. Listen, we've been the greatest tag team in the ring. We've been the greatest faction in the ring. Now we're taking over the airwaves. This is a perfect outlet for me to spew the bullshit out of my brain.
You know how close I was to busting that album in half? That's how mad I was at you.
Now, don't lie to the fans. I'm looking at you straight in the eye. You were tearing. You were tearing. Don't lie.
I enjoyed doing the show, but it also, I was getting mad that you were going to drop this on me here and now.
Oh, now come on. As your best friend, we are better friends than Oscar Madison and Felix Unger. Better friends than Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Better friends than Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. Do you really think that we would end the show like this?
Better friends than the Sonic commercial guys?
Of course. Well, one is nuts and the other one is just sane, but I mean that's a different story, man. I'm more the insane one, just to let you know.
You son of a bitch.
And you fell for it.
God damn it.
Apparently Ensign didn't tell you about the joke, huh?
No, because Ensign's a motherfucker.
By the way, what did he get you for your birthday?
Ensign got me. Actually, it was kind of sweet. He got me this.
Please wipe the tears off your eyes. I'm sorry.
It was weird.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Ensign got me this nice little card. You open it up, it plays a little song in it. It actually plays "It's a Wonderful World," and he wrote in it, "Boss." Actually, boss. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm sorry I deleted actually all 24 prior episodes of the Yin and the Yang podcast.
What?
They're no longer available on iTunes.
What the hell?
I apologize, but happy birthday.
What the hell?
So technically this isn't our 26th episode now. It's more like our second.
Unfreaking real. Unfreaking real. And just when I was trying to establish some sort of friendship with that kid because I thought he was a pretty nice kid, this is what he does to me. Oh, by the way, that ice cream last week was phenomenal.
I wouldn't know. I didn't
get
to
chocolate
it.
that I had and you never got. Oh well, I'm surprised you didn't send him on another mission. Anyway, okay.
You know what, Mr. Chew?
Yes, sir.
April Fools. We all have all our episodes. Don't worry. See, two can play this game. Okay,
you're right, sir. Sorry, boss. I am kowtowing to you for the entire episode. You know that, right?
Well, it
is your birthday.
Let's get to the episode.
Okay. So, that was actually a part of the agenda, believe it or not. Militants, commandos, I'm sorry. Just want to basically just have some fun because by the time this drops, it's an early April Fool's joke for you guys because we drop on Friday and, Sunday's April Fool's and Easter Sunday. Can you imagine that?
Yeah. How about that?
Okay, so let's take care of the first order of business. So, Larry, this past week, I want to break a huge myth about something about China. China, the country, China, all right?
Okay.
Actually has social media.
Really?
It's just that they do not allow Facebook and things like that. Probably because it's an American concept. I don't know. But they do have Chinese social media. They have different types of things that they use, like WeChat, ICQ, sorry. They have a few things, and they have other types of websites that are equivalent, but it's only amongst Chinese people in that country.
Mm-hmm.
So a few episodes back, I was talking to you guys and gals out there about a mixed martial art fighter. He's kind of like an amateur to a pro mixed martial art fighter in China. I don't know what this guy's full name is. I don't recall. But there was a viral video that actually broke out of Chinese social media and went around to all social media and YouTube of this MMA fighter challenging – a Chinese MMA fighter challenging all traditional Chinese kung fu artists.
Really?
Yeah, and he said when you go and you fight him, number one, it has to be for a good amount of money, and number two, you can only use the style that you're taught. So many episodes back, actually, this was probably in the first 5 to 10 episodes, I had mentioned that this guy had fought a Tai Chi guy, and he kicked the ever-loving shit out of this Tai Chi guy, right? So now, this past week, another video has circulated where they put this elaborate setup where it was in a really fancy area or auditorium with a few hundred people watching, I'm guessing, and basically they put up a Wing Chun guy.
Okay.
And he fought this MMA fighter. Now, Wing Chun is the art that I teach.
Yes.
And I watched the whole fight, and if you watch it, and I would suggest that you good folks go out there and watch it. Again, it was the same outcome as the Tai Chi guy. The Wing Chun guy, actually, I do have to give him credit for coming out and pretty much trying the best he could. He claimed that he was a high-level fighter, and to me, he was not. What this guy did was he started coming out and he started doing these chain punches. So in Wing Chun, chain punches are if you throw a straight punch out this way, then your backhand comes forward and you punch towards the front again. And then it repeats again and again and again.
Okay.
Right, so it's like that's why it's considered a chain. So it's like a circular chain punch. Mm-hmm. Kind of like think of the bicycle chain in your bike, and that's how we punch in Wing Chun. Well, this guy just threw that out there, and this MMA guy was bobbing and weaving and then grappled him and threw him to the floor and started pounding him out. Now, Wing Chun does not have groundwork. It doesn't have a whole lot of joint locking. So when this guy was grabbed onto, he got nervous and didn't know how to react to it. So he got thrown to the ground, and this guy just pummeled the hell out of him. And a lot of people have been now, I generally try my best not to get involved in this. I really didn't even want to comment on the Tai Chi guy, but a lot of people who listen to the show were asking me my take on it. So this week, it comes to as no surprise. A lot of people say, hey, well, Anthony, you do Wing Chun, you teach it. What do you think about this what's your reaction to this whole MMA bit? Now, my reaction to it is that understand something. Before we even talk about these two people, understand that Wing Chun and MMA are totally different. Wing Chun is one style and MMA is many styles.
Are they?
Whatever that.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, because how like karate is more, you study it to not use it. Like it's like a defensive, not an offensive. Right. Are these two styles offensive, or are they like opposite of each other.
So here's the thing. It's opposite because MMA is a combination of many styles, and a lot of it is quite aggressive, meaning like Muay Thai. You have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is a little more defensive, but they have their offense too. You can use judo, you can use karate, you can use so many different things. Wing Chun is defensive because the art was created by a woman. And it was made by a woman who was only about 5 foot tall, 5'2" at most, and she was very, very slim and short. And she had to be on the defensive and not the offensive. So Wing Chun is basically created and was very dominant many, many years ago. I mean, it was created almost 300 years ago by a nun, a Shaolin nun, who actually escaped the temple when it burned down.
Really?
And she taught a woman named Wing Chun. And the thing about it is it's very defensive. You don't go on the attack. There's very low kicks. We don't kick above the waist because we feel you lose balance. There's about 70-80% hands, 20% footwork. Not to say that we don't use the legs, we just use it in more subtle ways. Every time you throw something at us, we throw something back at you, which is kind of like we have our own methods of training and things like that. It's a very complete art. But if you look at it back then, there's no MMA in China.
Yeah.
So, and, it didn't exist in anywhere until only, 20, 30 years ago. So now MMA, this guy is – you see, Wing Chun is more made for street, as opposed to MMA is made for sport. So if you put a guy in a sports-oriented venue, obviously the MMA guy is going to have a huge advantage. And this guy trains, I believe, in some sort of grappling. He trains in Muay Thai. He trains in a lot of different things. So he pounded this guy out. And – he's challenging all traditional artists. Now, personally, I wouldn't mind challenging this guy myself and actually putting my skills to the ring because I want to see how good he really is. He doesn't go by weight classes, but everybody is there a certain height and weight anyway, for the most part. And the thing about it is, I don't think that this Wing Chun guy really used his art correctly because I'm saying if you were to really sign a contract with this MMA fighter, then you could say, okay, well, then I can use anything I want. It's part of my art, which means I can thrust my fingers in your eyes. I can kick to the groin. I can kick to the inner of your knees and just break you down. But they didn't fight under those rules. So if it was in a real life fight, real life situation, it would have been a very different outcome, I think. I wouldn't mind challenging this guy because then I would say, listen, if I'm going to do this, well, then I'm going to use a bit of MMA training and you're fighting me, the person, and not the style. So it was promoted as this one style versus this MMA guy. And the Chinese government is not having it because the president or the prime minister of China is very heavily into preserving Chinese culture, so they don't want to show the world that traditional arts are no good. They don't want to show that the traditional arts are bad against mixed arts. You know what I mean? So it was just this guy busted him up properly, and it was just horrible, to see. And now what it does is that it creates this very negative image for the art of Wing Chun, Yeah. So what can you really do? But, I mean, you should really watch this fight. It was just kind of like pretty quick, a few minutes long. And the Wing Chun guy came to attack him, So after he did the chain punching, he didn't know what else to do. So it's like he didn't know how to trip the guy. He didn't know how to use his energy. He didn't know how to conserve his economy of motion. Nothing. He just knew how to come on the aggressive, and that's just not the way our art works.
Okay, I get that. I get that.
Nuts, right?
Totally.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that, again, it still boils down to the fact that you fight the person and not the style.
Okay.
I think that to me is more important than anything else, because you can't just have one guy represent one art.
Yeah.
You don't speak for the over 6 million practitioners, 4 to 6 million practitioners around the world who practice the art of Wing Chun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I'm going to go in there, at least go in there and study your opponent and prepare and know what this guy can do. Watch tapes, be prepared, something, because he already knows your style. Why not know his?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Gotcha.
another thing. So
Gotcha.
it's poor preparation on their part too.
Okay.
So that was certainly something that I came across and I wanted to air out this week. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, I actually wanted to get right into the episode of my favorite segment of the episode.
All right.
And I know that you'll be pretty happy about this because Lord knows, Larry kind of lives for this every week now.
I do.
Oh God. Well, yeah, so do I. But what can I say, right? But anyway, brother, and I'm gonna say this. All right.
Yeah.
I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool.
And it's not you, Larry. You're cool. Don't worry.
Oh man, this better be a good special edition on my birthday, or else I will discontinue this segment.
Would you really?
I'm just testing the waters right now because it's my birthday.
Oh, okay. I understand. You're becoming mean. You're showing the people how much of a heel you really are.
By the way, for the rest of the episode, I would like to be referred to as Mr. Mormon.
Mr. Mormon? But we're friends. I mean, how can you...
Mr. Mormon?
Son of a bitch. Yes, Mr. Mormon.
Thank you. Continue.
Just why? Why did I just open my mouth? My mother was right. Just keep your mouth shut. But no. So, okay. So here is something that I find you will be very, very surprised at. And this is, to me, one of those things that it's considered highway robbery. And I'm really surprised that your Ponzi scheming has not come to light about this one. So have you ever heard of it? What is so funny back there? Why is Ensign hugging you?
Because he knows he's going to get his ass kicked in a little while.
Get a room. I'm sorry. I cannot yell at you today. All right. So, have you ever heard of an event called the Arnold Classic?
Oh, absolutely. I pick things up and put them down.
No, this is not Planet Fitness.
But yes, I have heard of the Arnold Classic. It's kind of the modern-day Mr. Olympia.
Okay, well, it's the second largest bodybuilding event in the entire year. Let's put it that way, okay? So the Arnold Classic
almost as big as the WBF?
Oh, God, please, don't even, okay? That is just horrific as far as I'm concerned. All right. So the Arnold Classic is actually a 7-day event. All right. And it's supposed to be a week-long event that showcases – it's really known as the Arnold Sports Festival. All right. And it's known and named after Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's an annual multi-sport event consisting of professional bodybuilding, strongman contest, fitness contest, figure contest, bikini, weekend expos. And it was established in 1989. It's named after, obviously, Arnold, right? And the main event is actually held annually from February or early March around that time in Columbus, Ohio, all right? And it's held by the IFBB, which is known as the International Federation of Bodybuilding, right? And it's the second most prestigious event for men's bodybuilding specifically.
Okay.
All right. Though it's becoming now a huge thing for the women, and all that. So it's been around since 1989. So it's about 29 years now, right? Now, when you look at this, okay, it's considered to be a lucrative sports competition, as the Arnold Classic offers a number of large prizes. Most notably, if you win first prize in this bodybuilding contest, it consists of a $130,000 payday.
Wow.
All right. A Hummer.
Really?
Yes. And an Audemars Piguet watch.
Sure.
I don't know. It's spelled Piguet.
Never heard of it, but okay.
Okay. So since the Olympia title predates and offers higher prize money than the Arnold, a rivalry in prestige and popularity has really sprung up recently, right?
Okay.
And let's specifically concentrate on the men's bodybuilding here, because number one, let's just put it this way. Bodybuilding I've always been a fan of the sport, because to me, it's always crazy to watch these guys and girls who look larger than life.
Yeah, right.
And, these really crazy physiques that these people have. And it's one of the hardest sports to turn professional in, because, quite frankly, you have to work very hard. It's not just in the gym, but you need endorsements. A lot of these people are not very rich at all. And there has been a lot of scrutiny that's come from a lot of people, specifically one of my favorite bodybuilders from the golden age of bodybuilding in the 70s, known as Robbie Robinson, also known as the Black Prince of Bodybuilding. He actually, interesting thing about Robbie Robinson is he has a few distinctions. Number one, he's one of the very first African-American bodybuilders to actually make it big.
Okay.
Not the only one, but one of the very first pioneering of the 70s. Secondly, Robbie Robinson is also, when you look at Joe Weider's sculpture,
yeah,
that's actually Robbie Robinson's body.
Really?
Sculpted into Joe Weider's face.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Okay.
And thirdly, Robbie Robinson is now 71 years old, and he looks 6,000 times healthier than you and I, because he still looks like a serious bodybuilder.
I believe that.
That's saying a lot. That. All right. And also, his most notable win is the 1994 Masters Mr. Olympia, which is for people who are over 40 years old. And who did he beat for first place? Lou Ferrigno.
Wow, really?
Right? So he holds a distinct win over the Incredible Hulk.
Interesting.
Right?
Interesting.
Now, so Robbie has been around for a long time, and I'm a follower of his. I'm a huge fan of his work and his knowledge and his wisdom. And he posted something that I wanted to read to you guys. Now, listen to this, all right? It sounds like a lot of money, $130,000, all right? But he states here that the Arnold Classic is a sad event when it comes to quote-unquote big money. Listen to this. The prize money for the top 3 bodybuilders in the Arnold Classic, the first place goes to $130,000. The second place winner, which is Dexter Jackson, I believe, he's the only notable one that I know, got $75,000.
Okay.
All right. This guy, and the third place winner, I don't know who it is, got $50,000.
Not
right.
bad.
And he says, to be honest, after grossing $100 million in 7 days, that's what these guys are getting.
Oh, I get it.
$100 million in 7 days. And this added up right here is no more than, if you want to look at it this way, it's no more than $250,000. All right. And they made $100 million freaking dollars. And he says, if this was my show, I would be embarrassed to sign the placement paychecks. I call the money chump change peanuts, an insult to all the hard work the bodybuilders put into their work. The bodybuilder's ability to really be given their due still remains in the outhouse. That little shack out back of many homes in the country.
Wow.
Robbie Robinson. So he is really, really cutting a promo and ripping them apart on social media. And to be very honest with you, I completely agree. If you look at bodybuilders, these guys, that's all they do. They don't hold regular jobs like you and I do. Mm-hmm. And it's the hardest sport to turn professional in because you have to keep competing until you get your invitation. Now, my coach's coach is a physique competitor. He's an IFBB pro.
Okay.
And he's a physique competitor. And the amount of insane work this guy puts in and busts his ass to do so many shows till he finally got professional, it's not an easy road. Now, what I don't understand is that why are these guys not being paid more? You're telling me that even if let's just say if the $100 million, okay? Let's just say after taxes, there's $50 million involved in profit. All right. I'm just breaking it down hypothetically. If you gave the top winner $500,000 and then you gave the rest of these guys $100,000 who placed in the top 10, even the top 20, all right, you're only shedding out somewhere around $3 million, $4 million. Where does the other money go?
Right to Arnold himself.
I don't get it. He has to have made a cut of the money, but why are these guys being paid chump change? They're also putting their lives at risk for a lot of the things that they do to get there, meaning they deprive themselves of water. They dehydrate themselves so that their physiques can look more muscular and more defined. The way that they eat, the way they train, the way they prepare. And again, these guys don't have 9-to-5s like you and I. You know, why is it that they are not paid the right money? That's what bothers me.
That is weird, I'll admit. But I mean, maybe just because the prize money has always been $130,000, so that's like just the traditional value, and then the rest of the money probably has got to be some sort of like to cover the promotions, to make back money for renting out the arena, whatever. Not arena, it's done in like a convention center sometimes. Things along those lines. Probably paying some other people to show up.
But here's the thing. But okay, but then at the same notion,
I'm not trying to justify it. I'm just trying to rationalize it.
Absolutely. But what I don't understand about this entire concept is that you could raise the prize money, because I think that $130,000 has been existent like this for the last 10, 15 years.
Okay.
You're making the same money that you made 15 years ago. That's ridiculous.
Okay, I can see that.
I just don't see why these guys should not be paid more. I mean, obviously in amateur you don't make any money. In natural contests, I don't think you make a lot of money. You'll get probably money in endorsements. Mm-hmm. But, even the Mr. Olympia doesn't make a lot of money, and that's hosted by the IFBB. What the hell is going on in this sport? And no wonder people are losing interest, because it's stapled onto the name, the Arnold Classic. And I think that that's what's keeping it alive, and a lot of people who want to go out there and open their vendors tables and want to endorse their products or whatever.
Because it's like now it's really just like an expo, right? I mean, there's, like you said, there's vendors there. It's not just the bodybuilding competition. It's almost like a just like an expo, like
it's a fitness expo now,
like a con,
right?
Yeah, like a Comic-Con.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh no, well, with the way that they're paying these guys, it might as well be a goddamn con. I'm surprised you haven't kept. I mean, Mr. Mormon, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
No. I said I'm surprised that you haven't caught the show,
Okay.
Right. Because, I mean, I thought that you were a fan of bodybuilding. I guess not. I'm sorry, Mr. Mormon.
That's okay.
Now, so I don't know who the hell's promoting this shit, but I'm just going to call it as a whole. All right? So I So my summation of this week's shootout is quite simple. It's in the form of a question.
Oh.
Do you know what happens, International Federation of Bodybuilding? Do you know what happens when you promote an event that makes $100 million in 7 days, and yet you pay these hardworking guys and gals who risk their lives, their health, their everything, they give it their all, and they're paid chump change? Huh? Do you know what happens? Huh?
Hit him with it, Chew.
IFBB, you just got chewed out.
Oh. Yes. Love it. Oh. God, do you feel it? Huh?
Thank you, Ace. And by the way, after this, I think I'm going to go do some bodybuilding myself by locking into your ice cream stash that Ensign just handed over to me.
What? How did Ensign get over to you so quickly?
I don't know, but he just handed me a pint of ice cream.
That son of a
Halo
bitch.
Top Double Chocolate.
Prick bastard.
Well, you're on fire today, huh, Mr. Mormon?
I'm ready, brother. You know what? You can call. It's weird. It's weird you call me Mr. Mormon. You know what? You don't have to call me Mr. Mormon anymore.
Oh, the ban has been lifted?
Yes. Just call me your excellence or your high and mighty. Hello?
You're kidding, right?
Please continue with the show.
You know, and if I don't call you this, what's going to happen? What are you going to mute my...
That's exactly, you know, you're learning. You are learning. I press the button here. I press the button and I do what I want to do. Because it's my network. It's my birthday. All right? I do whatever I want whenever I want.
Hey, don't shut my mic, goddammit. Why are you muting me, Larry?
I let you back up.
I mean, your Excellency.
You can call me Larry. It's okay for the rest of the show.
Son of a bitch. Son of a... Wait until August. Wait until August when it's my birthday, motherfucker. I mean, Larry.
Yeah.
Damn it. All right. Well, let's take care of the people, shall we?
Shall we? Let's do it.
All right. So, we have 3 interesting questions. So, the first question comes from a gentleman named Richard Frank, who is from Huntington Beach, California. And he says, "What's up, guys? Do you think there will be ever a promotion that combines the entertainment aspect of pro wrestling with the combative skills of modern mixed martial arts?" Richard,
Interesting.
have you not ever heard of a promotion back in the early 90s called the UWFI? Do you know what the UWFI is, Richard? It is a promotion that looked like shoot wrestling, but yet it was all worked. Now, did it have the gimmicks the way that you'd see in WWE or WCW? Or no. However, it looked like it was legit grappling and striking, and they made contact with one another. All right, a little more than what you'd see now in an episode or a show in like WWE, but the outcomes were predetermined.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, do you remember the UWFI?
I think I do. It sounds familiar.
You know who competed in it?
Who?
Shiki
Really?
was in it. Right, Iron Sheik was in it. Little Guido was in it.
Wow.
Nobuhiko Takada. I mean, he was very young at that point. You know, there were a few people that were in it. I think Bradshaw was in it too.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. So there's a few people that were in UWFI. Oh yeah. It was defunct it was an offshoot of the United Wrestling Federation, UWF.
Yep.
So that was a pretty good independent quote unquote territory. That was probably one of the last territories. So Richard, check out the UWFI on YouTube and stuff like that. I'm sure you'd find something pretty interesting about that. All right.
Interesting.
Yep. So the next one comes from there is a hashtag on Twitter from Chris the Conqueror. Right? Just says at Chris the Conqueror. So from Danbury, Connecticut. And he says, now listen to this one, Larry. I've watched the USW when the both of you were at your peak back in the day. My question to you would be, how well would Chris Anderson and Anthony Chu fare in the independents today or in the WWE today individually and as a faction? And the second question he poses, which is a part B to the question, is at your current age, condition, etc., do you think you can still make another run once again in pro wrestling? Larry, that's a very good question we've discussed.
We have. Me right now.
Should you kayfabe it and tell everybody who Chris Anderson is?
He's probably the greatest professional wrestler
ever. Now, wait a minute. No, that's not true. That's not true. Well, he is great. Well, he is great enough that he actually got inducted. He's going to get inducted. So, who's Chris Anderson?
Chris Anderson is the first ever USW World Heavyweight Champion.
Okay.
A very good friend of mine. We talk often. And, you know, I've asked him this as well. I said, Chris, champ, you know, number one, he likes to be called that. Are you ever going to step in the ring again? Should I step in the ring with you and form a dominant tag team that would trump the anti-USW, quite frankly? But he said he himself, Chris Anderson, like that, can step back in the ring. He can win the Royal Rumble. He can win the Elimination Chamber. He can go on to main event WrestleMania and win both the WWE Heavyweight and Universal Championships. And on his way out of New Orleans, he'll stop off and win the Women's Championship as well, because why not? But he said, for me, I'm getting older. My health is not the best it is right now. So at this point, maybe not right now, but a year from now, if I dedicate myself, I can get back in the ring.
All you need to do is add one more character, and you'll have the three faces of Larry.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, it was a Mick Foley reference. So, as far as I'm concerned, first of all, Chris, I guess that's what your name is, or Chris the Conqueror. From Danbury, Connecticut. Hey, man, I just wanted to thank you for being a fan of back in the day of the USW, and we really appreciate it. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if I was in the independents right now, okay, would I be able to fare? I think so. I think that if you look at our personas, our gimmicks, what we were like in the ring, as a faction, I would say to you that we could still be dominant.
Okay.
Whether Chris can go or not in the ring, he has amazing mic skills. I know for a fact that in a physical sense, if you ask me, considering my age and my conditioning now, I could definitely get in the ring. I could definitely go for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I still remember all my basics. I still remember my spots. I still remember how to put together a match. That's not a problem for me. What is a problem for me would be how long could I withstand this, because it's a huge toll on your body. I mean, like there are certain days when I get up and I still feel like my lower back bothers me. Sometimes I feel like I have upper back problems. Plus, your elasticity in your body and your flexibility start to go. And that's why, for me, I haven't lost any of that. And it's very surprising because I feel that, once again, I don't want to sound like I'm product placing here, but DDP Yoga is really, really helping me maintain that type of, flexibility, that being limber and being agile, and just really, man, I haven't really gotten a serious injury since that point.
Okay.
I mean, and my lower back is getting better day by day by doing DDP Yoga.
That's good.
So I think that individually I could definitely go.
Mm-hmm.
As a faction, I think we'd be better. Right?
Okay.
Now, Larry, you were much too sweet back in the day.
I was.
I guess, right?
I was.
You know, so I mean, I think that everybody knows, we formed anti-USW, right?
Yeah.
And it is. I think we could still dominate. We could certainly still dominate the airwaves. We could dominate the ring. We can definitely, go for sure. So I hope, Chris, I hope that answers the question for you. And then we have our last question from Savannah from Corpus Christi, Texas. So no international questions this week.
No, not this time around. That's all right.
Right. So this is an interesting one, and I don't even know how to answer this. No, in a way, I actually do. Why are more women not involved in martial arts? It seems as though women are not taking up certain arts and disciplines. Can you explain why? Savannah, all due respect, have you not been watching UFC lately? Have you not been watching pro wrestling lately? Have you not actually looked across dojos, local dojos when they're in session? I think that women are actually stepping out even more than they did before. I mean, look at all the huge names that are women fighters. Rousey, Miesha Tate, Michelle Waterson, Paige Van Zandt, Cyborg, right? Just Cyborg Santos. I mean, there's so many people who are out there. There are a lot of women instructors, a lot of women pro athletes. So I don't see, Larry, unless you know something that I don't.
I'm not really familiar with the scene, to be honest. But like you're saying, though, especially, the UFC is definitely showcasing them. Every show I see coming up now always tends to have a women's fight. And
at least one. Right?
At least one. And they've main evented, even whether it was, the days of Ronda Rousey. I don't know if there's been another women's main event as powerful as when Ronda was around.
Right. The Cyborg just recently fought in the main event.
Okay, there you go. So they're there. I just don't think our friend here is paying attention to it, and I don't mean that with any disrespect.
Right. I mean, I think that women are actually more involved, and I encourage women to actually go out there and take up a martial art, take up self-defense. I think it's more important, especially for women in this day and age, to do something like this because we live in a whacked-out world right now. And women, children, and even men need to know how to protect themselves from against crazy people out there. You know, so I certainly believe that this is a very important piece. And so Savannah, I really hope that you would just do more research and look out there into a bigger, broader spectrum because there's a lot of women involved in the arts. Trust me. All right, so you guys, and gals out there, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you want any shout-outs, and I want to give a huge shout-out to a buddy of mine that I know of in the grind, in the 9 to 5, my friend Jim. I want to give you a huge shout-out. Jim is actually a big pro wrestling fan.
Oh, okay.
So Jim rocks, and
he rocks.
Jim rocks.
How about here you go. Jim is best. Jim is number one. Jim is the best. Jim is number one.
Yeah, there you go. So we love you, man. And he is a pain in my ass sometimes, but he's an awesome dude. We love you, man. Jim, I hope everything's great. And I told him to listen to episode 26.
Awesome. Jim, I hope you can send a birthday present to me through our P.O. box.
No, wait a minute. What? You don't know Jim personally.
I accept gift cards.
Oh, Jesus.
You can email him to yinandyangpodcast@gmail.com.
Oh, my God.
Just make sure you reference Attention Larry so that way Anthony over there doesn't take them.
Oh, for heaven's sake, will you stop? All right?
Sorry, Gorilla.
Jeez. So if you have any questions or anything like that, please email us at yinandyangpodcast@gmail.com. We've had a lot of questions being sent in, so I certainly really do hope that we can get to everybody. We're going to try to answer them on air. We may actually even do an episode, Larry, that's dedicated to all questions. So
Ooh,
if
okay.
the show sucks, it's the people's fault, not ours. Right?
That's my motto.
There you go.
You know,
All
I
right.
have that hanging up in my foyer when you come into the mansion.
Oh,
It's-
good Lord.
It's drilled into the concrete itself.
Oh,
the
my
sh-
Lord. Will
if-
you? Oh, God.
If the show is bad, it's the people's fault.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, way to really promote a positive image for the network there, Larry.
Well, I'm just saying. Oh, I'm just saying. So,
Jeez. Now, before we get into our last segment here, I want to promote something huge and something positive. And you know who one of my favorite wrestlers is, right?
is this Mark Morrow?
His name is Mark Merrow.
When he debuted at WrestleMania, Todd Pettengill called him Mark Morrow.
Well, because Todd Pettengill's a dumb fuck. All right? And if I see Todd Pettengill, I'm going to curse him out. All right? For calling him Morrow. The idiot. Anyway, Mark Merrow, also known as Johnny B. Bad, also known as the Wild Man. That's why when you look for me, I'm known as Wild Man Fan on the internet. And also, let's also clear up one other thing. I talked to Mark when I debuted for USW, and I said, Mark, I know that you may be a little upset at me, but I just wanted to let you know that when I get in that ring, I want to dedicate a special move to you. I was wondering if I can use the TKO and call it the Chew KO. And he said, absolutely. He goes, you are a loyal fan. I want you to be able to have great success like me. And that's exactly what happened. And I debuted the Chew KO. So let's clarify that right now. Now, speaking of Mark is a former pro wrestler, a former Golden Gloves boxer, and now he is a motivational speaker for children who are going through a lot. He has a program called Champion of Choices, and he also has a acronym known as HOPE. Hold on, pain ends. And he has been going around. Yeah, he's been going around the nation, talking to people about living positively, talking to students about anybody who's been bullied, suicide, depression, kind of like what Josh Berkey does.
Okay.
In Victims and Villains. And Mark has really done a phenomenal job. If you guys ever want to check out what Mark does, and Mark and I are actually friends on Facebook. And if you ever want to check out what he does, I believe the website, and I'm going to pull this up for you boys and girls out there. The website for Mark is, let's see here. Oh, here we go. Okay. So when you look at it, you go to Champion of Choices, .org. That's one. There's ThinkPoz, ThinkPoz.org.
Okay.
.org. He also is doing something called the BAD Tour, BADD. So BAD is an acronym that stands for Be Against Destructive Decisions. And he is America's #1 school presenter. And trust me, man. Yeah, he is. He does a phenomenal. What the hell is going on back there?
Fucking Siri out of nowhere just responded to something, and I thought there was someone like behind me in my mansion. Oh.
Larry, you are aware of the fact that if there was somebody behind you, I could tell you because I'm seeing you on video, right?
But, she scared me. She scared me. Holy cow.
And now you know why I don't have that bullshit. Anyway.
I'm sorry. Continue.
There's a video called A Mother's Love. It's a powerful message about what he says to his mom. And this video has several million hits on YouTube. And it's a video that you watch and it's just like, it's heartbreaking, you know? And he talks about his time being a wrestler and you know, he talks about how your life is a gift. I do encourage you guys to check it out. I'm going to actually post it as a link onto our website on Facebook, the Yin and the Yang Facebook page.
Okay.
And I encourage everybody when I post this up, please watch this and share it. All right. So other than that, you guys, I'm going to cap this episode off by promising everybody that I would actually do a little dedication for Brandon Lee. This is his 25th anniversary of his passing. He passed away in 1993 while he was filming the movie The Crow. And he was shot supposedly by an accidental prop gun that went off that had a real bullet in it. He bled out to death in the hospital. And it's a hell of a way to go when you're only 28 years old. I tried my best to collect a lot of stories about Brandon. And, I remember, and I'm going to reveal the entire thing now, and I'm just going to put this down on the pod. I remember back in 1992, 1993, I took Taekwondo. And I remember my dad brought me basically a magazine called Black Belt. And in this magazine, Black Belt, it's the largest martial art published magazine for martial arts. I don't even know if it is at this time. I haven't seen it out in Barnes & Noble in a while. But I'm sure it's still there, and I hope it is. But at the time, there was a huge article about Brandon Lee, and he made a couple of movies in Hong Kong. And, when he's the son of Bruce Lee, in case you guys don't know that. And when Bruce Lee passed on, he was only 8 years old. And he eventually followed his dad's footsteps in becoming an actor. And his one of the couple of movies that he did was The Legacy of Rage in Hong Kong, which was great. He did Laser Mission, which is kind of like a very low-budget film. And then he broke out in a movie, and this is where my dad bought me this Black Belt magazine of a movie that in the magazine they were promoting his movie with Dolph Lundgren called Showdown in Little Tokyo. And that's an awesome movie. He got to showcase not only his fighting skills, he showcased his acting skills, and I became an instant fan just because I just thought he was awesome. He played a character named Johnny Murata, who was a Japanese-American task force, police officer trying to fight gangs. And him and Dolph Lundgren make a good team. Not as good as us, Larry, but they were awesome. And I remember the next movie. And, dude, I will tell you this now. The next movie that he made was Rapid Fire. I love this movie.
You do love that movie, yeah.
That's the one that that Kate Hodge signed for me on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much the movie is very powerful. It's action-packed. It's just the martial arts is phenomenal. He adds a lot of Hong Kong international flavor to the action sequences. He does act well. It was a movie that was with the late Powers Booth, Nick Mancuso, and Kate Hodge, of course, the beautiful Kate Hodge, who I had the pleasure of meeting. And he plays a student named Jake Lowe who witnesses a murder. And he has to protect himself against the police, people who are after him, the mob, blah, blah, blah. So, and then he did The Crow. Now, at that point when he did Rapid Fire, for a martial art fan such as myself, I think most people will remember him as The Crow because he passed away in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very eerie in a sense that he passes away, and then a year later, he appears in the big screen again. You know, when his character, Eric Draven in The Crow, passes on, and a year later, he comes back to life to avenge the wrongs in his life, in his past life. So it's very eerie how those are kind of parallel, you know? And I remember, I had a martial art tournament and back in 1993, and I placed second place in forms competition. And I was so happy and stuff like that. And the next day I woke up and I come downstairs, and all of a sudden my brother and my dad are glued to the TV. And I'm like, what are you guys watching? And at that point, my little brother would do shit to annoy me, and he was only 8 or 9 years old at the time. And he says, hey, Brandon Lee's dead. And I'm like, shut up. I'm like, don't say something like that. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Why would you say that? And my brother's like, no, it's true. He's dead. And I looked at the TV and I couldn't believe what I saw. And it was true. And I remember at the time, we had VHS tapes, and I would tape every single thing I can find about Brandon's passing. And I still have that VHS tape somewhere.
Really?
In my closet. And his passing has affected me for 25 years. And it's almost like, it's really weird how you can miss somebody that you've never met, you've never spoken to, you've never interacted with in any way. And I really think that somehow, some way, I think he's watching over me in a way. And I think that if he was to have met me, I would pray to God that he would be proud of me, because a lot of my determination, a lot of my drive, and I've gone through some bad times in my life. When I was younger, I was a very angry guy, angry young man, when I was in my early to mid-20s. You remember that, Larry?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
And I think that, him leading me there really, really helped out. I remember back in 2003, I got into an accident with my car. And I mean, I came out unharmed. But what was interesting was that when there was a car that hit another car, and that car in turn hit my car. And I was about a foot away from literally being sandwiched in between the car and the divider in the highway, And I remember after I got hit, out of nowhere, I kid you not, a crow stood right in front of the hood of my car.
Really?
Yeah, and kind of looked at me. And I was just looking at it, and he was looking at me. And then he looked at the damage of what happened. And then he looked back at me and kind of like gave me like this nod, that birds do.
Yeah.
And flew off.
Huh.
And sometimes it makes me kind of wonder, was that really, in a way, like a message sent from Brandon because he did the crow? I mean, it sounds stupid of me to make that analogy, but a crow checked up on me, just to make sure I was all right. And then when he saw I was okay, he flew off.
Interesting.
I found that very odd, and it was just really weird for me, And I've spoken to Ernie Hudson, who told me he was the last person Brandon Lee had dinner with. I talked to Kate Hodge, as I mentioned a couple of episodes ago, about her experiences with Brandon. That was kind of very eerie premonition about what would happen to him. I think one of my favorite quotes that he quoted from a book called The Sheltering Sky, and I'm not reading off of this. This is something I can memorize here. The quote is, because we do not know when we will die, we begin to live and think of life as an inexhaustible well. And everything happens only a certain number of times, and a very small number really. How many times will you remember a certain afternoon of your childhood, an afternoon that is so deeply a part of your being that you cannot conceive of your life without it? Perhaps 4, perhaps 5 times more, perhaps not even that. How many times will you watch the full moon rise? Perhaps 20, and yet it all seems limitless. And that was one of the greatest things that he's ever quoted. And I found also one last thing before we sign off on this pod, is that there was a very, very interesting quote also that he spoke of when it came to the philosophy of martial arts. And one of the things that Brandon had said, and this is to me very, very interesting, was he talked a lot about, his philosophy about the martial arts. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that he would say is that he said, when you move down the road towards mastery of martial arts, and you're constantly moving down that road, you end up coming up against these barriers inside yourself that will attempt to stop you from continuing to pursue the mastery of the arts. And these barriers are such things that when you come up against your own limitations, when you come up against the limitations of your will, your ability, your natural ability, your courage, how you deal with success and failure as well, for that matter. And as you overcome each one of these barriers, you end up learning something about yourself. And sometimes the things you learn about yourself can, to the individual, seem to convey a certain spiritual sense along with it. It's funny, you know. Every time you come up against a true barrier of your progress, you're a child again. And it's a very interesting experience to be reduced once again to the level of knowing nothing and emptying yourself about what you're doing. And I think there's a lot of room for learning and growth when that happens. If you face it head on and you choose to say, screw that, I'm going to do something else, then we reduce ourselves to a certain point of our lives to kind of solely pursue things that we already know how to do. And we're comfortable with that. And we try not to break that barrier because of our comfort. You know, because we don't want to have that experience of not knowing what to do and being an amateur again. I think that's rather unfortunate. It's so much more interesting to and usually illuminating to put yourself in a situation where you don't know what's going to happen and challenge yourself than to do something that you already know essentially the outcome and what will be within 3 or 4 points ahead either way. So I think what he's trying to say, and I'm sorry for the long quote, everybody, but I think what he's trying to say is you get complacent and you get comfortable. And I think that the point of it is to break yourself out of that and to challenge yourself and take life as a challenge, you know, and go out and blaze your own trail and be you. And I think that that's one of the best lessons I ever learned from him. And I miss him every day. And I really wish that, you know, when he was alive, I could still meet him. And, you know, he would probably be in Chile for sure, you know, or he would have been in a HorrorCon, or he would have been in a martial arts expo.
Absolutely.
And I would have loved to have met him, man. And, you know, I still tear up, man. I still tear up when I think about it. And I'm kind of like wanting to think about tearing up now. And it's just, you know, I'm thinking, I miss him. You know, it's like his 25th anniversary of his passing. And I just can't believe that I was young, you know, when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
I was only like 16, 17 years old, you know, and that's why it's affected me for so long. So, brother, thank you for giving me the forum, man, to talk about this. And if you guys have any memories of Brandon or anything, any awesome moments, email us, tell us something that you've wanted to know, or tell us, share a memory or an experience, or if you've met him yourself, you know, share that with us any way you can, you know, whether it be on the email, on Facebook, whatever, man, you know, let us know, please. So, lastly, I just wanted to ask you guys, Larry, is there anything that we're going to put up there, anything we're going to plug, any tour dates for the when we should have, you know, just when we thought we were out, they pull us back in tour?
Well, I got WrestleMania weekend coming up, so I'm going to be doing that. But before WrestleMania, actually within the next, well, by the time this actually drops, it probably already aired. So go back to check both my Facebook page, More365, and the official More the Same Network Facebook page, or do a search for More the Same Network, because I will be doing two Facebook Live shows, one of which will be the Road to WrestleMania with my very special guest, Glenn Notaro.
Oh, thank you so much. What? You chose Glenn over
Notaro, the highest paid podcaster in the history of podcasting. I'm going to be paying off that contract years after I'm dead.
Okay, I am going to do my best to hold my shit together right now, because out of respect for Glenn, he deserves it. He deserves it.
I told you I'm doing two wrestling shows. So the road to WrestleMania will feature myself and Glenn Notaro, and also probably a few days later, we were going to do the road to WrestleCon, which is actually about the independent scene, which will be in New Orleans, Louisiana, during WrestleMania weekend, and that'll feature myself and very special guest
thank you very
Brandon
much,
Miller from the PS Midnight Cast.
But I thought we would be podcasting.
So be on the lookout for that, both on my Facebook page and on More of the Same Network. Check it out.
I can't believe I'm not included.
Well, we are going to Chiller.
Way to throw another log into the fire of why we are still considered the redheaded stepchild of this network, Larry. Thank you very, very much.
We are going to Chiller, and I plan on meeting the voice of Skeletor, and I'm going to get
Oppenheimer?
This bad boy signed.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That is a Battle Armor Skeletor pop vinyl. Because apparently the regular Skeletor pop vinyl is going for like $300 right now.
Wow. Okay. Well, Chiller Theater, I will certainly be there. We will be there on April 29th. That is my next public appearance. And, the day or the week after WrestleMania, we will be inducting Larry into the USW Hall of Fame. That's a private black tie affair, guys, and I'm sorry that we couldn't invite the public out there, but it's just a private ceremony amongst the people who are an integral part of the USW and the USCW.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time.
All right. You sure you are aware that you're being inducted? Am I correct?
I am aware now, yes.
Oh, excellent. Well, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that everybody had a great time. I ask of everybody here to please do me a favor, do us a favor here. Please take care of yourselves. Work out, eat right, take care of your body, for your body is your temple, your mind, your spirit, your soul. Please always have balance in your lives. And if you guys need anything, have any questions, just even if you really want to vent and you have something to say, you need our help, just hit us up anywhere, our email, our Facebook page, write comments on Spreaker or YouTube or everywhere else you take your podcast in. So on behalf of my co-host, Larry, once again, happy birthday, my good man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And I am now going to eat cookies and cream and pistachio ice cream with Ensign.
On my birthday.
Happy birthday, Larry, and you can't teach that. Peace!
You're the best around. Nothing's gonna